I mean, I can't come over to sunny South Africa and not meet the world famous Blanton. So, it was a big deal. And I had talked to Anna, and she said, she let me know you all do a lot, so the potential could be that we miss each other. So I understood, but it was really to thank you all in person for helping bridge the gap.
All right, guys, welcome back to the world famous The Real South Africa. My name is Mark, and Latasha is going to be inside with us, and we're having an interview with Chris. His first time in South Africa. He absolutely had a great time. He just wanted to tell everybody his story, so I think you guys should follow, listen, and maybe take his advice, but check us out on the inside. All right, everybody, this is Mark Blanton from The Real South Africa, and of course we have over
Dr.
here
Natasha Blanton, The Real South Africa.
And guys, as you know, we do a lot of tourism. We do it big. We bring a lot of Americans, and of course those in the diaspora. We got those from the UK that are coming. We got people from the Caribbean that comes here through The Real South Africa. We try to show them a good experience, but yeah. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let this gentleman to my right introduce himself. Hopefully he'll give himself a nice introduction. Let's see what we got.
Hey, maybe I will. How y'all doing? I'm Chris Mason. I'm from Washington, D.C. This is my first international trip, and I took it with The Real South Africa because the channel, everything they talk about, everything they show really, opened my eyes to the reality of traveling to Africa. It wasn't just an ideal. You all made it real. And it convinced me, it helped influence me to make this leap. Take this journey, and I've been here since the 9th. Today's the 18th.
It's up there, yeah.
Yeah, and I've been loving it. I'm already sad that the day.
But you've been in Joburg the whole time.
I've been in Joburg the whole time, and I go to Cape Town tomorrow for the last back end of the trip. So
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Okay. Yeah. So Tasha, why are we sitting up in here with Mr. Mason here?
We're sitting here because I was looking in the chat group between you and Anna. I obviously monitor everything, and it just when you were having such a good time, and then you were at the sand deck the other night having dinner, and you wanted to get picked up early, so I chimed in because I know Anna was load shedding, and I said, just the driver's gonna be there in 10 minutes, in case maybe this will pick you up. And then you said, I know you guys are busy. I know you're busy, but it's that, am I gonna get to see you before? Right. And I said, and he goes, I got a day off, and I said, we will make a plan, and we will come out to see you. So that's why we're here, because you seemed eager that you really wanted to meet us in person. So we appreciate that, because a lot of people we don't actually get to see for a number of reasons, but we made it a point to get out here to see you because you expressed such a bold interest. And why was that?
I mean, I can't come over to sunny South Africa and not meet the world famous Blanton. So, it was a big deal. And I had talked to Anna, and she said, she let me know you all do a lot, so the potential could be that we miss each other. So I understood, but it was really to thank you all in person for, helping bridge the gap, and getting a real understanding of what this place was like, because it's not just, people living in huts and walking around and, grass for clothing and lions roaming the streets, all that stuff that you hear the narratives about. You all have been doing great work for, I think it's been over 5 years I've been seeing your channel.
Yeah, we've been up there for a little while.
Yeah, so it was just out of respect how I was raised. If I got the chance to sit with you all and thank you, I wanted to do that. So
here we go.
Awesome. I was excited. So
okay,
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're obviously that's our intention. We don't want to preach to people about coming to Africa. We just want people to see what we see. And we do see a lot. And so we kind of present it in a manner in which you can grasp and you can see yourself doing. And once you get here, then you have your experience.
Right.
And so you're having your experience. So Tasha was talking to you about the sand deck. What was going on up there? Was it okay?
It was more than okay. I mean, it was beautiful. And one thing I say, not to shift it away from that, but the restaurants in general here are just A1, like top notch. Like seriously, like no disrespect. I've been to Vegas. I've been to, from DC. I've been to LA. Been to San Diego. A lot of quote unquote top line places. This beats all those. you know, and the service you get is top of the line, and they don't, you know, treat anybody differently. Everybody gets equal top quality service everywhere you go, and the food is amazing, and the atmosphere is always good too. So, so that's been the main thing that I've, you know, noticed from every spot that I've been to.
Okay, so now if you was comparing the spots to somewhere in DC or Atlanta, what would you compare it to?
Well, DC it'd probably be Melrose would be more like a Georgetown.
Yeah.
Which is, I would say that's probably the closest it would be.
And that's what they told you.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's what they told you.
Georgetown is like keep pinky up when you drink your.
Yeah, exactly. It's not as clean, and it definitely don't cost the same. So South Africa has a beat on both of those fronts. And then everybody there you know, I ain't trying to cause no trouble on your channel. Everybody there looked like me. Yeah. You know, and that meant a lot to me, you know, because I knew, you know, who the money's going to, you know, that has value, you know.
Yeah.
And it was part of the reason when I moved from DC to Atlanta is because I know we were there. And, and I feel good around us.
Yeah.
But really, it's scarce in the U.S. where you get them places.
Yeah,
you know,
they're getting harder and harder to find, especially you know, because the U Street corridor.
Oh yeah.
When I got there DC in 2002, you know, I ain't know nothing about DC. Actually, I was scared of DC. I was, because I'm from North Carolina.
Okay.
I was in the Army at the time. I just got out. I joined the service, and so I was living in Virginia. So I would drive across the bridge, go to work, and as soon as I got off work, I went back across the bridge into Virginia and never even went to DC. I was a little nervous, but eventually I started going out in DC, and I was going to the U Street corridor.
Right.
And I'm like, man, this is a little heaven right here. Because it was nice.
Yeah, it's popping always. It's nonstop. Yeah. But I did that a lot growing up, and I still think I give South Africa the edge. So,
okay.
Because I did U Street, Adams Morgan's, and
that was
said Georgetown. Now 14th Street with all the different lounges, K Street, 8th Street, everything.
All the alphabet streets.
Exactly, all of them that exist, yeah. And DC has its swag, you know, I'm a proud DC, you know, native, so home and the people there are always going to hold value, but when I just compare the experiences, I can get all those things in South Africa, but then all the other things I can't get. Not to mention the safaris, the scenery. It's just so much that I couldn't imagine experiencing, you know, just being here for the short amount of time I've actually been here. So
it doesn't take long to connect, because even going to Atlanta, unless you know a bunch of people, it takes a while to connect with people, to find out what's going on, but it didn't take you no time to figure it out here.
Every driver is really knowledgeable. Even people who one thing that I thought was profound, I've been telling my family, I got here Tuesday night. Wednesday, I went to the Melrose Art down in that area. And I was walking, and the guy asked me about where's the ATM? And I said, I'm not sure, you know, but once I started talking, he was like, oh, you're not from here. I said, no, I'm from the U.S. And he said, essentially, welcome to my country. And I said, thanks for having me. But he said, this is your country too.
Wow.
And that's the first day I went around.
You're like,
that's an introduction. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I ain't been to, you know, welcome to my state. I ain't never been to the U.S., you know. Not saying it ain't people like that, but the fact that he made it a point to say that, it means something to him too.
Yeah.
You know, so
they're happy that you're here.
Yeah, and that's what I've been getting the whole time. Men, women, you know, it's been equally that type of energy. Like you said.
Yeah.
I think what happens.
It's a good word. There's really no other word for it. We can call it vibe. You can call it whatever. But I think that when we get here, our vocabulary becomes limited because there's so many things that we're feeling, so many things that we're seeing that you can't actually think of all the words that actually express what it is you actually feel. So when you say that was a type of energy, it's like that's the only word we can come up with that describes what it is we actually feel.
You know, it's funny you say that about the language and our English. Our English language is very limited to what we can actually express. So sometimes, like, we'll be here and we'll be talking to South Africans, and they'll be speaking to us in English, but to fully express what they're saying, they meander off into their native language. Because that makes them say, "Cause this is what I mean."
Gotcha.
And then they have to tell us what that word meant.
And they try to explain
it. Hard.
Because it may not exist in that way.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they know the English language just as well as we do for the most part. They have a different version of it, but they do. Right. But they always have their language ready to express to each other, certain things. And then when they try to, because I've been here so long, they're trying to tell me things, and they say, Mark. And then they just go into something,
and they really do go. Because they're really trying to find the.
But in short, they're super excited to have us here. And, you've been watching our channel for a while, and for somebody to greet you, who we were told, obviously, hey, Africans don't like Americans, and we've heard all these things walking around in the U.S. And they come here and somebody greet you that way to make you feel some kind of way, to me is very interesting.
Yeah, it is. And there's a couple things that staff and different people I've interacted with. It's like, well, if you didn't start talking, I wouldn't have known you weren't from South Africa, but I thought you were from Africa.
Exactly.
That was fascinating. Like, wow, because what my view is being an American, you don't go to, Cali and say, oh, that's a California black person. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't know unless they talked or they swag or maybe they dressed different.
Yeah.
But for them to go, I would have thought you maybe were from this country, because of features or certain things like that. It kind of gives you that sense of like, oh, they kind of know me better than me on that level.
They know you're
historically about where you really from. So,
yeah,
that was cool. I thought that was fascinating.
But that was interesting what you just said. They know you better than you know you in some ways, because they know where you come from.
Exactly.
Even though you think which is basically what our history tells us.
Right.
But they intrinsically know where we come from. Right. And they're acknowledging you, versus even walking around the US, we don't even acknowledge ourselves.
Exactly. And I've talked about that a lot with people. What is it? I might be saying it wrong. What is it? Shop.
Yeah.
Is that like thank you? Or is it it seems like it means a lot of things.
It does. It means so many things.
Yeah, cool.
So
and you don't hear it everywhere. You don't hear it throughout the whole entire country.
You just use the word, all right, cool. They'll just say shop.
Yeah, it's like sharp.
But the R ends up with so it's like shop.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So now you'll go back and start saying it. They're like, all right, man, Holly's like, all right, shop.
Exactly. Yeah. I had everybody back home saying that.
Yeah, and they should.
DC's gonna adopt a new word. Get ready.
My friend, I was talking to her, and she said, how was your day? Talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
I said, it was cool, but today, I had a free day just to kind of roam around Joburg myself. She said, oh, you already using slang. I was like,
it's Joburg.
It's Joburg. You know what I'm saying?
I was roaming around Johannesburg. No, I was in Joburg.
Yeah.
I was in Joburg.
So it's
but you get comfortable quick, don't you?
Yeah, for sure.
Too quick.
Because you don't have to adjust to the factor of what are these people looking at me like. If you just put us all in the lineup, you wouldn't know who's from America, who's from here, So maybe if you had that type of eye, but to the outsiders, the real tourists, the real foreigners, they have no clue. They are the real minority, And I think experiencing that is a whole different degree. Because one thing about DC and Atlanta, that's the minority, but you're in the majority, so you get a different view. Growing up in DC, I thought black people were in every state, everywhere. It was like Chocolate City, It's like this all I
saw. Go to Montana.
Right, exactly. But here it's like I've met people from Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Namibia. Yeah. Still, I wouldn't have been able to know that if they didn't share it with me.
Right.
So that's been, like you said, that comfortability, that relaxed the shoulders a bit.
Yeah.
I don't get the vibe that somebody's looking at me like they sizing me up or something like that, And I don't have to worry about the police either. The police, I've had conversations with them, and they've been pretty good. So
just another brother.
Just doing his job.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's not that underlining, hidden pressure. What is this going to turn into?
Yeah. What's in your pockets?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, for real.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's good that you have that, to me, somebody who just got here, but obviously awake and awoke and know what's going on and know where you come from and know the precautions you got to take everywhere you go. And then you've been in a foreign country. You flew how many hours? 13?
It was. Well, I flew to Atlanta from DC, so that was 2 hours and then 15.
Americans.
Yeah.
Once you
Yeah,
get
they come all the way this way to get treated the way it possibly like you probably should get treated.
Right. And solo, because it's good to, I think everybody has their own perspective. I had no other influences that could have potentially leaned me any other way. Because who knows, if I came with more people, they experience something and they go, man, I don't know about it. I didn't have that because I came alone. So it's like, from my own discernment, my own wisdom, my own perception, it's like, this is what I experienced, you know? And I don't have no reason to hype it up because I don't get any, you know, I don't have any stock invested in it other than just being truthful, and it's been great, you know? Every place has flaws like anywhere in the world, you know what I'm saying? If that's your justification for trying to say, no, don't go, you living in a fantasy world. Because I live in America and there's plenty of problems for all of us to share.
He's like, they're handing out problems.
Right.
There's a problem for you. There's a problem for you.
Yeah, so that whole thing is out. And it's just been good. Like I said, the people are the biggest influence on me so far.
Okay. I think some people might take it offensively, but you know, obviously they call us African Americans, and we mostly focus on just being an American, and we don't really focus on that African part.
Right.
But so what you're basically running into are just Africans.
Right. Exactly.
These are just Africans, and this is how they act. And you would think that we would act something very similar, or we would be like, oh, look at how they act and how they treat each other. Maybe we should do the same, but we spend our time being Americans, and however the other Americans treat other Americans, that's how we ultimately end up treating ourselves. But and then you come here and you get a quick lesson on how Black people treat each other.
You're right.
Quick lesson.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, one thing I learned, and for the people who paid attention in class, you may already knew this, but I didn't. Colonization, right? When I went to the museum, the apartheid museum.
Yeah.
You know, I thought Afrikaans was an African language.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, even with they sold the name, you know,
Word.
and granted, like I said, I'm sure if in class they went on, I didn't get taught this in school.
They didn't teach you that.
Yeah, but I was
don't worry
like,
about it. You didn't miss it.
Yeah, I was like, this is Dutch, German, and what's the other? It's like 3 other languages. European. I said, oh, you even had the nerve to call it Afrikaans. And then, you know, the struggle they had trying to assimilate to that language and make it seem like that they was less than.
Yeah, and then trying to get Africans who already have 7 or 8 different languages here right here in South Africa or more, trying to force them to learn Afrikaans.
Difficult Afrikaans is to learn.
Oh, I can imagine.
But just to try to force them to learn.
That's the thing.
It's like, hey, we made up a new language. You need to learn it. No, man, I'm good. I don't want to learn that. And then they force them to learn it, and then that's when obviously the uprising happened. I'm sure you saw all that in the museum as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's my birthday, by the way.
June
June
16th.
Oh, nice.
I was
Youth Day.
It's Youth Day, and I wasn't born in '76. I was born in '78. But at the same time, it's still my birthday. It's Tupac's birthday too. But that's neither here nor there. But that's what caused the uprising. Them trying to force it.
Yeah. And anybody, come on, man. If we all were speaking English in America, then they just said, we're Spanish, and this is how we're going to judge the curriculum.
Or Mandarin.
Yeah, Mandarin. Everybody, you know, Arabic, whatever. It would be insane. It would be the same reaction.
Exactly.
So I found that, you know, interesting, and just the knowledge I got from going there. Mandela's museum was heavy. You know, it was a lot to take in, but it was necessary information for sure.
I like that you use the word heavy, because I usually instruct people, hey, like, just prepare mentally for what you're going to experience today. It's going to be heavy. If you need to grab breakfast, or make sure you get a snack or lunch, because it is draining.
Yeah.
I've had a couple people that have been to Soweto and then had the apartheid museum following and couldn't get through the apartheid museum because it was too heavy. It was like, I can't take both days of all of this, because it does do something to you. Yeah. And you do have to process it. And I know that you just went a couple of days ago because you haven't been in it that long. But when you finally finish unpacking it, you're going to be like, that's some bull.
Oh, yeah, that's how I was. That's exactly how I was. Because it's comparable, you know,
100%.
to other struggles of us.
100%.
Okay, so have you been to the African American Museum yet in DC?
I didn't go all the way through, but that's what my thought was.
But it's
that's what I told my family. It was like that.
Yeah, and I tell people, and I've been saying it a lot lately, that our struggles are very similar, different time frames.
Yeah.
You know, there are those that want to compare and say, well, this wasn't the same and that wasn't the same, and we're not talking about that. there are a lot of things that are comparable,
Right, absolutely.
in these struggles, and so and that's why sometimes I feel like South Africans and Black Americans aren't that different.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's true, because my mind instantly went to that museum, and that's what I used as a reference to my family to say, yeah, it was kind of like this.
Mm-hmm.
But it also gave me, see that sense of pride, like we are gonna fight this. You know what I'm saying? And we may not benefit, or I like to use the term, like they say, be the change you may not live to see.
Mm-hmm.
They did do that. Probably Hector Peterson was the toughest part of learning about it, knowing that he was such a young kid and lost his life. And then even the guy the kid at the time who had his body and he had to, basically skip, leave his country, and they still don't know if he's alive or not. So that was pretty telling. But, South Africans love their country.
Yeah. And they have their freedom fighters. Like we had we call civil rights workers.
Right.
They have their freedom fighters, I had somebody on the phone a long time ago ask me, they said, so do they teach them black history? And I said, what do you mean? Do they teach South Africans black history? And I said, and I had to explain to this person that they have their own history to learn, so they can keep, which is black history. It's basically what it is, and they couldn't understand because the person on the phone thought that they should be teaching them like American black history. And I'm like, well, they have their own thing, and I had to challenge them. I said, you don't know of any of the freedom fighters and any of their struggles, but you think that that
but that's the arrogance sometimes that we But we when I say the arrogance, it's the arrogance of being an American that's not really afforded to us, but we take it upon ourselves to have that arrogance.
Because you're coming from a position where you think you're already at the top.
Because they told you that you were. They told you that, but do they treat you like that?
Right. And have you done enough research to break that thinking?
Exactly.
Because for me, the research had already been there. This trip just confirmed what I didn't know from experience. Because I could talk to somebody who read papers on South Africa all day.
Yeah.
Have you stepped on the soil?
No.
Have you met the people? Have you interacted? Yeah. So this is really secondhand you're talking.
Mm-hmm.
So you're making a whole judgment of the people based on something you read. What was the intentions when they were writing their history? We don't know.
100%.
So that's what it's been for me, and that's what I think the biggest thing you all do is never like you're not trying to force anybody to think anything. It's just presenting something. And then we get to do what we want. I'm sure you get videos or comments of people like, well, what about this? It's like,
oh yeah, the what? Listen,
are you gonna come and find out, or you gonna try to convince them of something that they live in? You know what I'm saying?
If I get one more, but what about?
Yeah.
If I get one more, but what about? I'm like, but they always ask us questions like, what about this? What about that? And the truth is, it's not that those things don't exist, but for what we do, I'm like, if you want to focus on poverty porn, then this is not the channel for you.
Right.
Because what I'm not going to do is expose my host country in a negative light.
Right.
It's not that it doesn't have negative attributes,
but it has a lot of positives.
But that's not what I'm here for. That's like, but think about people that they're like, oh, I'm a positive thinker, I only like good vibes. If someone tries to give you a negative vibe, what are you gonna do? You're like, that's not what I do.
Right.
That's how I think about our channel. We're like good vibes only. Like it's not that those things don't exist, but we try to repel that as much as we can.
Yeah.
So, but you can't.
Oh yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
Tell me about how fast you booked the trip. I want y'all to know that.
I'm sorry, I gotta apologize to Dr.
You don't have to apologize. We worked that thing out.
She handled it though. I only gave her a week notice, you know what I'm saying? Like for 14, 15 days? 14 days. Gave her a week notice and 15. And I had a itinerary in 2 days? Was it the next day maybe? No.
The actual was that same night.
Yeah, it was the same night. We did 24, yeah. So yeah, because at the time thing throws me off. Yeah. 6 hours ahead.
Yeah.
Same day, and it was clear, it was concise, it was smooth, and every day has hit the mark. I didn't reject nothing. I know some people like, only thing I think I added was the whale watching in Cape Town. I asked about that.
Yeah. That's not the right season,
yeah, right, yeah. But outside of that, it was never anything that I came in open like, I trust these people because of what I've seen. You know, there's no reason for me to believe otherwise, unless all these people on their channel are in on it. You know what I'm saying?
The biggest hoax in history.
Right, biggest hoax in history.
Yeah.
But, you know, back to you all's point about, you know, the reasons on why not to come and stuff like that. To me, at the end of the day, it's like, we know what America's going to say about America. Nobody's going to promote themselves negatively. Like, why would America tell you there's other countries better than us that you should live in?
Yeah.
Why would they do that? That's not even reasonable, especially for a country like America.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I didn't want to go in, like I said, trying to convince you all to convince me of something.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, all right, cool. I got discernment. I got knowledge. I do the research for myself and let me go see. And like I said, I was already high on it from what you showed, but experience has surpassed all of that. And I think that echoes most people who visit here. I mean, they couldn't put into words really what they truly had when they come to South
But you know what's funny, Natasha? He's 100% right, because I think a lot of people, I don't know how they perceive us from the other side of the camera, because we're on this side of the camera and then we're here. So we don't really know. We just know what some of the conversations we have. And, you know, obviously you was obviously easy to work with because you had an open mind. But a lot of people, they're going through something to have that conversation. And so we ultimately, I think about most of those people, and we as we say here in South Africa, we sorted them out, and they come, you know, and they might be at 70% belief at this point, but they come. And by the time they on day 3, day 4, they're turning around the corner, they are over the top.
Yeah.
And they're literally
exactly what you say.
They're over the top. So, and we kind of know that when we're chatting with them, we like, okay, this is going to happen. This is what's, you know. And then now this whole new thing called South Africa is available to them.
Yeah.
In their mind, it's available from this point until the end of time.
Like, when we're going to vacation next South Africa.
Right.
I'm going to go back to South Africa.
Sure.
And that's what we call people repeat offenders, because 10 days, 15 days, I don't care how long you stay, it's never going to feel like it's enough.
I believe it.
Never
Be here a year, you'd be like, man, I gotta leave in a year.
And I love your optimism that you're like, oh, I'll be back in March.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Right.
It's only May. You'll be like,
exactly.
I think I'm just gonna come spend the holiday there. You can come here and figure it out all on your own. Like, you don't have to have something to do every day, because it's so much that you're gonna be able to find on your own. And depending on the time of year that you come back in November, it's the spring.
Yeah.
So you're here late fall, early.
In
Oh,
DC.
it's terrible.
So if you want a second summer,
Right. Yeah.
just saying.
So what did you see? And because I think Tasha was telling me that you felt like people needed to know something. Is there something people needed to know about your trip here in South Africa?
Well, yeah. If you let's just go the lazy route, because I explain what I mean by it, because I've been around now.
Mm-hmm.
If the lazy route to me is, if you want to go somewhere and just kind of be able to still feel like you're getting an American experience, you can get that here too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to just go to the mall and, you know, hit stores and all that, they have it, you know. And I think, as simple as that sounds to you all, because you've been here, I really think that the whole African continent is a Serengeti is really what's in people's minds. I think they just think it's a savanna open.
Yeah.
Maybe it's dirt roads here and there, but it's not really that. So you have that, which is the beauty of it. That's an option to see and experience, which I did. But I just think that people need to be able to form their own opinion about something as important as Africa, particularly South Africa, because we know a lot of pride that other foreigners have is because they've been to their land, or they've been to where their ancestors or relatives are from. So they have that confidence when you hear Chinese Americans talk about it, or European Americans, South American, you know, from whatever country they're from. And as African Americans, we gotta what we think we know, and we're confident in that. And it's like, that's kind of wild to be confident in something you don't have an experience with. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, to me say, oh, I know you like that. It's like, based on what? what other people told me. That would be crazy,
That
you know.
would-
So that's the main thing I think people should come for, to get that reality, but also just the things you're not going to experience in America. You want to see a lion in its true form. That zoo lion, no disrespect, it couldn't hang with them lions in Johannesburg. Not even the safari. I ain't even been to Kruger, so I know.
Kruger.
Them lions
got
are
the
wiping
good
the floor with those. Because when I looked at those lions' paws at the lions, I said,
They're like-
it's bigger than my face.
Yeah.
It's big.
Yeah, I mean,
Stompy.
yeah, real giraffes, real rhino. I mean, white rhinos. When we know those are on the verge of extinction, we watching that in real time, and they're in their own space.
Yeah.
You know,
They
they're
do
not.
anything.
Yeah, it's not like a room this big. They just keep walking back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, seeing a leopard up close,
Yeah.
like that's crazy, like crazy good. You know what I'm saying? So things like that. Just learn about the wildlife, learn about the city life. I thought it was cool how much they use the mopeds or the scooters here to get around.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool because it's pretty efficient based on how the city is set up. You can get places quicker. Depending on what type of work you do.
Yeah.
And I guess the only thing was like seeing the steering wheel on the right side and then
that's
opposite side.
Yeah. It's
But
like
it is-
opposite side.
Right, yeah, but it's I'm sure after a while you just drive it.
You
know what I'm saying?
You just drive it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go back to the safari portion and saying the animals.
Okay.
Because a lot of people, a lot of black people that we know are like, I don't want to see no animals. I don't want to
I
do
gotta have
that
a
part.
cage around everything.
And I don't want to be in an open vehicle, and I don't want to do this. And I'm like, you have to experience it.
Because you only go on using that based on what you think is going to happen or what
Yeah.
you think you know. Like, even though I was open-minded, it still was not, I couldn't have fathomed it was this level of like freedom. It's almost like, I was just in the animal's neighborhood, if that makes sense. If I'm describing it in a way, it was like, they were out there.
Yeah.
You're in the car and you just like, man, he's living.
Yeah.
There's elephants right in front of me, all types of elk and antelope and different things like, and the guides were all knowledgeable and amazing. They tell you, hey, this is what this
It's
is.
crazy. Ain't it?
Yeah, like a zoo is just
Look at it.
such a watered down version
And you got to
that,
read about it.
right. And I think that's why a lot of people may say that, because they either have the zoo perspective or they watch some show on Animal Planet as the 10 worst things that ever happened between humans and animals.
Yeah.
Them attack shows and all
Yeah.
that. And it's like, when you look at the numbers, that don't happen often.
Right.
So I already do that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a risk, At the end of the day, I know what I'm trying to do and I'm trying to experience. You only live once. I can only go to the club and the bar so many times for it to be different. But why not come to South Africa, get that, and then say, let's go to see the safari?
Let's go on to the
You know what I'm
bush.
saying? Yeah, like
I love
that's-
a good bush.
Yeah, that's
I've been on too many games. We've been
I
on.
love a good bush.
right. Because I've seen y'all channel. That's probably the videos I've watched the most.
Yeah.
If
Bush
you
is
all
great.
been on the safaris
Yeah.
and the bush one, I think is the most recent one I saw
Yeah.
before I got here,
Mhm.
because you all showed the room and talked to the lady I was calling Issa Rae.
Yeah,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
She did look like her,
Yeah,
though,
she
right?
did. She did
looks
look
like
like
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was cool. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's and even just I've been saying this too, just waking up every day in South Africa.
Mm.
That's the biggest thing. Like I've been telling,
And it's still the
waking
same
up-
for us, believe it or not.
Waking up here every day, like hearing different birds wake me up than the birds back home. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't even know what that is, but it sounds cool. You know what I'm
The
saying?
birds
Like,
here
yeah.
are on some get up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They on some
Yeah.
it's time to get going.
yeah.
But the birds do wake you up every day, and you can appreciate that. And like he just said, this many years later, still like, man, I'm in
Waking up.
Africa.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I say that every single day, like, wow, this is real.
We still drive around and just look at the sunsets, and we just be like, man, we in Africa.
Yeah.
This
I don't
is
know
this
ever
is
go
this is
away.
amazing.
I believe it. And the landscape is crazy. Like, even just on the roads, it's hard. I'm glad I haven't had to drive anywhere, because I probably would have been like,
Yeah.
oh, I got folks on the road, you know what I'm saying?
Crashes and stuff.
Yeah, just overlooking, the type of trees. I posted, I sent a picture to some people, and hey, that's Cali? Is it palm
No,
trees?
really?
Nah, yeah, exactly. But I didn't sell them on South Africa yet. I let them like, oh, okay, what else you think?
Yeah.
Like, man, oh yeah, I'd love to go to Cali, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's South Africa. Gotcha.
He's
Yeah.
like,
You know what I mean?
line and sinker.
Right, exactly.
Be like, oh, I would love to see that. Okay, well,
Right.
that's in South Africa.
right.
It's not in Cali.
Yeah. Because if I tell you, then unfortunately you're going to trigger what you probably believe.
Yeah.
You know, and we do that even in the States when you say, I might go to this for help, you know, this. And, you know, the number one thing I've gotten, which I'm sure you all know, be careful. Which is fair for just
put it on a shirt,
loving people and being realistic when you're in a different place.
Because you're from DC, so I feel like you have a what word do I want to use?
I mean, but he's been to a lot of metropolitan cities.
You have a predisposition to understand what it means to be in a city.
Right.
Like, it's not like you're coming from, no offense to you, honey, North Carolina or Virginia. I'll put myself in there second, where there's not really too many cities around, since you actually have to navigate those things.
Right.
So I can understand some hesitation, but at the same time, you can't just go somewhere oblivious, walking around like
exactly.
You can't.
That's
you
just.
can't be like
I mean,
that.
military. You know, keep your head on swivel. Surroundings there where you go. You know, nothing is above that. Shoot, if I went to Antarctica, I'd do that. You know, how many people out there? Right, exactly.
People be like, he ain't paying attention.
Right. They plotting. You know, so I feel you. You know, but
they plotting.
Yeah, you know, but I mean, every day I've walked in Melrose Soda. You know, and you know, even the people that was a cool thing that's different here too about the restaurants. How everybody's out front. And they greet you even if I don't go in there to eat. It's like the staff is like acknowledging me just walking by. And they're not badgering me to try to force me to come in.
They see you.
Like,
I see you, you see me, we greet each other.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah,
you definitely get. I don't know where the states you were getting. Maybe
but that's what most Africans expect no matter where you are in the country or on the continent. But then they go to the U.S. and then they see brothers and sisters, and we walk right past them. That is absolute disrespect here with us in Africa. So that's why we speak to everyone, and the people speak to us. You know, you can even go. I mean, a lot of us, if you actually drive, you see the guys that are, and I say it that we call them. I forgot what we call them, but they're at the stoplight or whatever, and you might not. You know, if you just greet them, just hello, even though they might not be in the best position. Right. You know, that's but it's disrespectful.
Yeah, they have a natural courtesy.
They're still humans. You don't have to ignore them, even if you don't have anything to give them. You would still acknowledge them.
Just say
hey, how you doing? And keep it moving.
But that's normal. So that's why now that I feel like I'm on this side per se, that I understand when the Africans that are in the U.S., especially ones that haven't been there that long, and they see a brother and sister, they just assume they can just come up to you and say, hey, brother, hey, sister, let's, hey, I'm so-and-so and you are or whatever. We look right past them because we're too busy. We don't understand. We're not as cultured as we need to be. And so, but here, a lot of times, if you go ask somebody for something, just walk up to them, hey, can you help me with this?
They'll be like,
they would say, excuse me?
Yeah. You can't pay somebody if you want to.
Oh yeah, it's definitely.
I learned the hard way. I was like very early on.
Yeah.
I walked up to a girl. I needed directions, right? And I said, "Hey, can you tell me how to get to whatever?" When I say she did like this to me,
you're straight back.
And was like, ask him. Yeah. Mark was like, now you know better. I was like, my bad. But sometimes because I did it twice. Twice was enough. She ignored me. The next time I did it, she didn't speak English at all, and I know she spoke English.
Yeah, but that's her prerogative.
But I was the one that was in the wrong. So it wasn't like I couldn't be like, why won't you help me? It's like I didn't say hello, how are you? Can you help me? I just went straight on into hey, and hey is like a smack in the face. So definitely don't do that.
No, that makes sense, and I would understand why, because when you talk about the subtleties of things like oppression, it's like, not saying that's what you were doing, but
it was
that's little ways on how our culture can change. By if we start allowing this, then what else do we do to simulate or let people come in? And this is not what South Africans do. You would say the same thing. If I walked in your house and you said no shoes, I got to take them off or I got to go. So I definitely get that, and that's good, because it boosts everybody's morale. Yeah. It just makes it easier to interact when you have that type of reading with one another.
Yeah. So tell me this. So you've been having some good experiences.
Yes, sir.
So, is there any particular experience that you haven't spoke about yet? So you got a red band hat.
I know what I was checking
Oh
out.
yeah,
that's that
experience
local
I
brand.
had is that these stores that took my money. That's the experience I had. All
Keep
these
your receipts,
shops,
honey, keep your
I
receipts.
did. I made sure I kept as many as I could.
Okay.
Yeah, that is the stores, the clothes, everything's nice. Like and the brands are different. You know, even if I have the same brand, I'm getting something that I wouldn't get in the States.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so whether it's Puma, whether it's this brand,
Puma.
you know, exactly. And they,
You know how I love
that,
this.
Puma big here.
exactly. Yeah.
You're Puma bigger than Nike or anything.
Oh yeah, I see.
Yeah.
And I like Puma, you know,
Yeah.
so
Oh, we
it was,
good.
it was great to be like, wow, I know I wouldn't see this in stores back home.
And it's funny
You
that
know?
you said not to talk about Puma again, but you brought it up, so I'm
Right,
gonna
yeah.
tell you.
Go ahead.
So because I am a Puma fan,
Okay.
I will look at and sometimes they'll have a different Puma at a different store. So like if you see a Puma
Right.
at this store, it may not be at this store. And even the Puma store will have different stores than the other Puma. So it's always a hassle for me
it's
because
tough.
I'm like, do I want to get a different pair of Puma for each
Right,
store?
right.
And then when you check the South African Puma online store, it's not the same
Yes,
as the
it's-
US store. So I'm always in a battle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Always
Puma
Always in the
Puma's
battle.
nice there.
Yeah. You can't leave that store thinking, oh, I'll just get that one.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
No, you can't do that.
Because I did that in Mall of Africa.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is it not?
Yeah. And then and that's one place you don't have to work out because the calories you burn walking around.
Oh, you be like,
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what? I done walked 37,000
Absolutely.
steps today.
Absolutely, yeah.
I can get a Cinnabon. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
right. But yeah, so that was a great experience. What else didn't I mention? I feel like it's a lot I didn't mention, to be honest. I mean,
No,
But I can tell you this though, and you're only halfway, when I say halfway through, but you're gonna leave here, you're gonna jump on a plane, and then you're gonna probably go to, you said you've been to San Diego, right?
Right.
Once you go to Cape Town, you'll throw San Diego in the trash can.
Okay.
San Diego is absolutely incredible. It's beautiful. It has all the stuff. It has all the stuff. In Cape Town, you're gonna go there and you're gonna be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And that's literally all I can. And I'm being kind.
Yeah, and even locals who from Joburg, Pretoria, Limpopo, wherever they I'm trying to I'm trying to give y'all some respect. hey, but even they all mention Cape Town. Everybody
Cape Town is beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, it is beautiful.
I mean, even people who some have been, some who haven't, they all say the same thing.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
insane.
Make sure you got enough space on these.
oh yeah,
Because
absolutely.
Cape Town gonna have you.
Yeah.
You gonna have it on because they're automatic, but like
I believe because here it was tough not to pull my phone out.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
all the
Because
time.
so when I would come, I had to remind myself that I needed to be in that moment, and sometimes I wouldn't take a picture so that I could actually remember it. Because I'm always like, I want to take a picture. It's like, let me be in
Right, be
something
present. Right,
versus
absolutely.
versus trying to take a picture of everything because it's so hard. You want the picture so you don't forget anything, but I also want to
Exactly.
be in that moment as well. The only thing I want you to talk a little bit about is we talked about a spa treatment.
Oh yeah, that was great. Life
Life
Day Spa, phenomenal. I got full body massage, got facial and hands and feet.
Mhm.
And so essentially, I never got a pedicure or manicure in my life. So
And
That was
personally,
great.
I was in Africa.
yeah, that was great. I was
Come on
like,
now.
my man was like marble floors. out there.
So you had, so you had an Asian lady came in and she
Nah,
did that,
this
right?
is straight South Africa.
Born I thought Asians, that's what they do.
Nah, they probably was in there getting service. They wasn't doing the job. It was African. I think one of the girls was from Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
But you get people from surrounding.
They talk say Zim.
Zim.
We can say Zim.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, neighboring countries and
Yeah.
the service was top notch. They had a restaurant in there. They had a pool, a place. What was it? Day chairs are they called? Yeah,
Mhm.
day chairs. You can sit outside in the sun,
Yeah.
relax.
They'll bring you a drink every morning.
Absolutely, yeah. And what was it? They did put your feet in like the salt or
With the pink one?
yeah, the pink one.
That's
Turn into like a
the
gel.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on? Like, but I like it. I was like, all right, I'm just here for the ride.
Feet
you
feel,
know?
and when you're done, you're like, why my feet feel so
Exactly.
good?
Yeah, it was
so good.
It was amazing. And just the setup, it was top notch. So like it was like a resort almost. That's what I was looking for. It was like being at a resort, probably what you would get there, And this was just like, a spa out in the city, and the service was great. Like I said, I thought it was cool. You had you could step over the water in between the floor. I was
yeah. All that's built inside.
Yeah, I like that. I was like, I feel like I'm somewhere tropical.
Yeah.
Which in South Africa is technically,
it's tropical.
One thing that's fascinating, it has so many different lands. Like you can look one way, it looks tropical. Then you see cities, and then the mountains at the lion safari. When we went down by where the leopards were, and then by the hyenas.
Mm-hmm.
Behind us, I forgot the name of it. He told us the name of the mountain. But it was crazy. Maybe that, yeah. It was crazy just looking at, wow, this is really right here. And I just was in a car on like the highway, so, and I'm seeing that, so everything in between. So yeah, it's just been too much to really be able to describe right now, because it's still all, I'm trying to pull every memory out that I've had, but it's been top notch.
Did you go to the setting?
I didn't even mention that. Sorry, the setting, the village, the people. Man, that was deep too. That wasn't heavy like apartheid heavy, but it was heavy in the sense of the fact that they still know down to the tribe who they are. They're not just we just from Joburg or whatever. You call it now, but all those different. I think it was 5. And learning that, Noah Mandela was from one of those tribes, and they talked about all the rites of passages, and I learned how important cattle is. Like you're trying to get married,
and all those things are still important.
Yeah,
and we from and cattle,
and
the tribes. They might be standing beside each other. One might be Zulu, one might be Xhosa.
Yes,
and they will let you know that this is this one.
Right, and how they communicate is cool. It's just a level of appreciation too on the craftsmanship of some of those designs on the housing, say the proper terminology, the color, the design, how each one represents something, like this is the head building, or this is where the elders come to converse about plans as far as the village goes, and how they took this may not have been Xhosa, so I'm not going to say that.
It's okay.
But how they have that 12-week period of the young boys becoming a man.
Yeah,
they go
not all of them, some cultures do that.
He mentioned how all 12 weeks they're away from the mom.
Yeah.
Essentially, they're with the elders, then they go in the mountains for another 6 weeks.
Oh yeah.
And then they come back. Right, exactly. So
can you imagine?
Yeah, that's
imagine if we did that.
If we got you right as a young man,
you
wouldn't have no trash.
Yeah. We need that though. I think the problem is we don't have true rites of passages in our culture in America.
And women do that too. They do that for the young ladies as well. They go away, do their thing, and they come back and they're ready.
Prepared.
Yeah, and how everything has a meaning, even down to the clothing. Like to us, it's just like, does it match, does it fly, whatever your style is. But when he mentioned about like when they're married, she wears this and she never takes it off her head, and that's just some sort of understanding of why they're allowing that, and then what she will wear around her waist when she's married herself. Yeah. So it's an indicate they talking. At the end of the day, everything is communication down to the clothing. Yeah. And that was cool. I got caught slipping though. I walked into one of the spots, and the spearman, he was on the side of the wall, and I didn't see him. He had the spear right there. And I was just like, like a tourist, wow. And I'm usually sharp, so it was like, okay, you got me right there. But it was cool to experience that. And the dance at the end,
they be getting it.
Oh, they get it. And they're not just, they're athletic. Yeah. Like those some of the moves are inflexible and like.
So it wasn't an electric slide.
Nah, wasn't an electric slide, wasn't a cha-cha slide, wasn't the box, none of that. But it was similar. DC people are like this. I don't know how much y'all know about go-go.
Of course.
Okay.
Bro.
Yeah, right. We beat our feet, which is a type of dance. And I was like, oh, this is similar. This is,
you felt at home.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
I could do that.
Yeah, I almost wanted to get involved. But that was nice. Of course, the village shops with the artifacts and the clothing. I never saw a towel like that. And Danny, he bought a towel that was just like, I was like, I've never seen a towel like this. It was beautiful. Color, the patterns, everything. It wasn't like some thrown together cheap material. This was quality, and that's another thing. The dashikis and all the clothing material the US be getting over on us because them cloths they use in the US is definitely not the material that they make here. Like that's quality.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, that's quality. So it was great to experience.
So you did a lot of shopping.
I did.
Okay. He went there. I did. So we'll leave that at that.
Because there was so many things that I just know I'm not going to see again.
I know.
And
I
don't want to try to find it online or not. I'm right here. I can try it. I can test it, and I can, see.
But it sounds like you can see yourself being part of this culture, even if you just come in here on vacation once or twice a year. It sounds like it.
Oh, it sounds, because it is that. I'll put it in the group message. I'll show you all off camera. It don't matter. I said, the super fast, all things perfectly aligned plan is 1 year. The reasonable realistic is 3 to 5. The long term is 7 to 10.
Okay.
And I'm talking about as far as living.
Word.
And I'm 32. I just turned 32 March 6th.
Okay.
So that is the goal.
Yeah, that's my aunt's birthday.
Oh, cool. So I say that, shout out to March 6th, baby.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, seriously, that's I put that in a message maybe 2 days ago. And I'm serious about it because you can live technically anywhere and just get a day-to-day experience, but
you want to live.
Yeah, outside of, like I said, and not outside, because this is a massive part of everybody's existence is family and friends, which I'm sure most people is probably their toughest thing to leave behind.
100%.
Yeah. Outside of that, there would be no reason for me to be committed to the U.S. After the experience, there's nothing I wouldn't get here that I can own that's exclusive to the U.S. And then there's things that I can get here that I can experience.
So I think that, when it comes to trying to encourage people to come to South Africa, it's not like encourage like it's something that you have to do. It's like if you are looking for something to enhance your experience in life, I think that South Africa should be a choice. Like that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. I know Tasha said what she had to say. I'm sorry, I'm stepping over.
It's okay. You can step over. Step.
But no. So has anybody asked you like what do you do?
Nah.
Don't you love that?
Yeah. That's the U.S. Respect question, right?
Yeah.
It's a respect question.
No. I say that because usually that's what it's connected to in the U.S. is like, what do you do? Is because that's how I view like. Oh, you're a lawyer. Oh, but it's honorable people that's generous. You get what I'm saying? So it's like
leave Ebony K out of this.
So it's that how am I going to view you based on what you do?
100%.
You don't have that here.
I kind of figured that.
Yeah, as soon as when you asked me just now, I think that was the first.
why.
Yeah,
right?
But yeah, I know.
But generally speaking, I would have never.
Nah, yeah, and that's not a thing that they. If it's genuine curiosity about because you're from America, maybe they haven't been, and just in general conversation, about what's it like over there? What do people do? Like that kind of question.
Yeah.
But ain't nobody
not like what you do. Like it's definitely not that.
Yeah.
They're not pressing me out about what I do.
But doesn't it feel good because like if you're in a crowded room with people in the U.S., they're going to ask you within the first, I'm going to say 30 seconds, like what it is you do in your right so they can determine where they're going to place you.
Yeah.
But to be here for this many days and not have one person ask you what you do, you're probably like, I just get to be Chris.
Right, exactly.
I just get to be.
And they get to be them, and I think the thing is they're not selling nothing. So in the sense of like, you know what I'm saying? And not even just like merchandise. I think a lot of times we selling our position because we're trying to sell our value.
Wow.
So it's just like, look, I do this, and it's just like, oh, I have this degree or this certificate, and it's just like we're always trying to convince people of our position, and that's because I think America is so fast and competitive, and it's all about chasing money, and it doesn't have any deep values beyond that. But here, that's not their first instinct is to think about comparison.
Just how you doing, brother?
Right, it's just hello, and then maybe understanding even before anything. So if you would have never mentioned that, it would have been so not asked that I wouldn't even have thought about that. I haven't even been having conversations about work here.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, so
you've been on vacation.
Yeah, exactly. you know. And they'll ask that, you know, like, how's your time been? You know, when you tell them how long you've been, it means something to them to know what your experience was like.
Yeah.
Whereas back home, it's like, oh, okay. I mean, like I said, I worked in Georgetown too, so a lot of those people are from all over the world, you know, but it's not like a big deal to really inquire about why. It's just like, oh, you was here from Europe? Oh, okay. It's kind of like we all do that. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of that vibe.
Yeah.
So I just think here it's more in alignment with how my family raised me and how they, you know, have their view of respect and you get what you give type thing. And that's, like you said, even down to the people on the side of the road or just at the bus stop, wherever it may be, there's no level to who can get respect.
Yeah.
And that means a lot because you said it, we all people.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. My job doesn't make me better than you.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
you know, we've got different incomes.
People in the back.
Right, you know, it doesn't, you know, so and again, they at home too. So it's like
no, they're literally
they're literally at home. So it's like we good. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like they get it every day like y'all do. Y'all still, like you said, waking up. I can't believe y'all echo that you still wake up.
Oh, absolutely.
No, it's the truth. I do it
real.
most days. I just feel like, man, this is I'm here, you know, and I get to enjoy another day here in South Africa. If it's just sitting around the house, you know, chilling out, watching. Lately, we've been watching a lot of classic movies. Like, you know, we just watched Casablanca.
Okay.
We watched Cleopatra. We
Right.
watched Counting on Hot 10 Room.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've been checking up, you know, just catching up or whatever we missed.
Yeah.
So we've been doing that, or if we decide to ride out, we went for an 11-kilometer hike the other day. You know, we in South Africa. We just as we say, pitched up. Yeah, we pitched up and paid a little 90 rand for both of us.
Yeah.
And we walked for 2.5 hours.
Wow.
And it was funny.
A beautiful hike.
It was funny because it was a woman that that stopped because she said, "Oh, I seen y'all like an hour or so ago. Y'all still walking?" And come to find out, she was from Hawaii.
No, she's from Guam.
No, she's from Guam, but
lives in
Hawaii.
No, it was Guam, California.
Yeah, she lives in California. So she said she was from somewhere in California, and I said, "Oh, you gangster!" Right? And then she started laughing. I think she was a Guamanian woman, and she said, "Yeah, it's so funny. I think in rap songs all the time."
That's funny, right?
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
She was this little
Guamanian.
Right.
We on a dirt road in South Africa.
Right.
In the middle
Having this conversation. It was cool. It was cool. I think she married a local guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know, it happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Hey,
So
But-
go ahead.
No, so we met a Guamanian from California on a hike in Pretoria.
Yeah. And that was that weekend.
We were in Kruger at a safari lodge and met a girl from Virginia.
Wow.
Yeah, she went to Virginia Tech.
Went to Virginia Tech. Like that, I mean, I grew up in Virginia, so I'm like, that's down the street. She was like, go Hokies. I was like, no.
That's funny. Yeah, my grandmother's from Madison.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Yeah,
okay.
She
from the sticks too.
Yeah,
I was going to say, she's from the sticks
She from
too.
down there. I gotta shout out this place. I ain't never been to a place where you get groceries and a soup and a Woolworths. Bro, I was like, hey, I don't need to leave for nothing. Like, oh man, that's amazing. It's like you go all to the same place to pay. Like when I get my groceries, I got a blazer and a shirt, tie. I'm like, what is this?
I can get my suit and pay for dinner.
Yeah. And I think most of them you can get like a little something to eat there if you want to actually.
Yeah. I saw that like hot and ready.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is like Whole Foods and Macy's.
At the same time.
Yeah. And it's nothing comparable to that.
And Whole Foods and Macy's had a baby.
Yeah, that's how I look at it. I was like, man, this is dope. Like, yeah, I was fascinated by that, and I've probably been there a lot. I probably.
It's really pretty.
Yeah, it is.
It's a pretty store.
And even certain like juices and fruits and stuff I can't get back home. I try to get as many.
Oh, they got
everything.
Guava and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I was
Welcome
definitely
to South Africa.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
He was like, they got guavas? Yes,
Right.
let me get a tray of those.
Right. And let me go get a hat too. Socks.
And a tie.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's cool, you know.
Okay.
Um,
Well, for the South Africa.
And Yeah, and people think, America does it high end. I'll tell you this, at Mall of Africa and Mandela Square, like, you gotta wait in line to get in Gucci and it's velvet rope. I feel like I was going to the club. I was like, pat me down, like, yeah. In a good way though, we gonna limit how many people, this is high end stuff. And it's stuff you're not gonna get in the US.
Yeah. And people got money here.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing. It's not just people struggling and trying to put chains together. People get paid, and you can see it. Even with I noticed, I was like, the local cars kind of look like Audis and BMWs. As a local car. Yeah, and to us, that's like,
Ford Chevy.
Yeah, I'm like, wow. Like, Audi, BMW, I think I've seen, I want to say Hyundai. I've seen that.
Yeah, Hyundai.
Yeah, maybe Nissan or something. But I was fascinated by that, and Mercedes too. I was like, wow, that's
just a basic car.
Yeah, I was like, this is an everyday car.
No, it's an everyday car.
Yeah, and another thing that's interesting is the bus service, not the
taxis.
The minibus taxis.
Yeah. They'll pick up whoever, wherever you are.
Yeah.
I didn't see people get grabbed up on the highway like, hey, got me, and they stop.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing because, if I'm going that way, why not?
Yeah.
Like in the States, you gotta be at this stop at this time, and you miss it, and now your whole, like they really are. To me, that's a sign you're really for your people. I mean, you're gonna make money for sure, but that's almost one of them businesses like, I can't look at you and see you there and just keep driving.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That kind of type of vibe. So I thought that was pretty cool that open up a business and available.
Yeah, we call that the minibus taxi. It's actually pretty organized. It's organized and not organized at the same time. But it's organized to the point to where we've been in rural areas, and like I said, we call them minibus taxis.
Yeah. We've
been in rural areas, and there's a guy who owns a couple minibus taxis, taking everybody around, going where like you said, you make a little money, but there's a lot here.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this: so, like, okay, you said you've been on vacation before, different places.
Yes.
So how does this compare to some of your other vacations that you have been on?
Well, I would have to say for the other places I've been to, they can be compared, and this would have to be separate. You can't compare this to those places because it wouldn't be fair to those places. Because this is blowing it out the water. Like, it's not even close.
So that person who's like, man, I'm about to go to Vegas.
I'm about to go to Vegas. I'm about to go to LA, San Diego, Texas, Atlanta, New York. Put them all together, I still wouldn't put them on South Africa.
Well,
and that's being kind.
Yeah, that's being kind. Because and I still haven't even been to Cape Town yet. This is just, I'm basing this off of Joburg, Pretoria, Rosebank.
Yeah. See, this is a different vibe than Cape Town. And you will see it's just a different vibe, but they're both on 10. There's 2 levels of 10. We've had people that go to Cape Town and just fall in love with Cape Town. We have people that come to Joburg that fall in love with both. We got people that come to Joburg, go to Cape Town, and be like, man, what's going on in Joburg? Because it's hard to watch this off.
Right, I got you.
And a lot of us that are here in South Africa, us people who live here, to include the South Africans, you're in Gauteng province. This is our state, Gauteng province, and so we're everywhere. They say, what they say, GP?
All over GP.
Yeah, all over GP.
Okay.
Yeah, we everywhere. We doing the thing, and so you'll pull up in KZN, which is the Durban. That KZN, or KwaZulu-Natal, is the province. We just call it KZN. First name, middle name, last name. That's what we call it. But you'll get there, you see a bunch of GP people. This Gauteng province, and they up in there. We flipping bottles. This is what we do. We GP.
Wow.
Yeah. So I kind of consider myself a GP person.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So when I pull up, all my tags say GP.
Tags say
GP, baby. Pull up in there. It's kind of like DC. When
right, yeah. And I gotta give you some dap on camera because, even before I got here, Amapiano, that's some of the greatest music I've ever heard.
Is it not?
Yeah.
I listen to that all the time now. Like, every driver, the MP. I mean, I got all this in my phone now. Like, I just take notes of whoever they name because after I got into it, I only knew about the popular one. I think her name was like Uncle Waffles, the girl.
Yeah.
She's a popular DJ. But I was like,
so dope.
Yeah, I wanted to ask the uncles, like, is that the commercial version or is this the real, I ain't trying to just be that. But they was just like, no, she has her lane, and then they gave me some other artists too. But before I got here, I would just listen to like hour mixes on YouTube. You know, like live DJing at places and stuff. Yeah, like it's amazing. It's amazing music.
Yeah. Make you want to move.
Make you move. You don't want to.
Put that on when you're trying to clean the house.
Oh yeah.
You could be like, am I cleaning or am I dancing?
Right, exactly. Yeah, so it's a beautiful music though. And it's theirs. You know?
It is theirs. It is theirs.
That's cool.
And they own it and they share it with the world, but they are still very proud to be like, that's ours.
Right.
So very proud that it's ours.
Yeah, they definitely share. They don't really hold anything.
It's taken over in the U.S. a little bit because even
we get a lot of people that come here. They have some people that can come just so they can go to the club, just so they can hang out and do the Amapiano thing.
Okay.
They came on these trips just simply because that's what they wanted to do.
Between our nieces that visit, they was like, "Oh, am I gonna get to go someplace and listen to Amapiano?" I was like, "Are you for real? Like, pipe down."
Yeah.
Daughter listens to it, and then another girl that we had come here, she was like, "That music is something." And she got here. She traveled by herself.
If you hear it, then you like music. There's no way you can't like at least one song. I mean, it's so much.
And then they be dancing to it all.
Oh yeah,
they be doing the most.
Yeah, I've seen the videos. I ain't get to experience it in person yet, so that's what my next visit.
Well, you go to Cape Town.
Okay.
They have it down.
We'll make sure you have a good experience in Cape Town.
And I got a confession. When I went to where's Signature? Where's that?
Yeah, I know. They told me.
Yeah.
They tell everything.
I went to Paul's first.
Okay.
When I got out the car, I thought Paul's was.
Oh, right there, of course.
Yeah, I thought that was. Because you know what I thought when I saw Signature Restaurant? I thought you meant like it's their signature, like it's like. I didn't know that was the actual name, so I ate at Paul's.
Oh.
I mean, it was great food too. Yeah,
that's
so
what
I had
she didn't tell us that part.
She probably didn't tell.
Yeah.
He probably didn't say, "Hey, I already ate."
Yeah, because I think you got to take order.
Yeah, I want to take one. That's why. Yeah, I went to the bar for the tortellini, mushroom tortellini.
Yeah.
But the bar is nice too.
Because I was already at the point where I didn't want to hold up the driver and make it.
Oh,
so I was just like, let me at least get some. But that restaurant was crazy. I mean, that was like.
You was like, shoot.
Oh man, because when I saw the live music, I was like, oh, I love it. I mean, I still got the vibe.
Yeah, but still, you wanted it like a
yeah.
It's kind of like DC, right?
Yeah, but better.
He gonna say but better to everything. Don't ask him anything.
You know, people that know me know I don't have no reason to hype it. I'm gonna tell you that if it was horrible, I'd be like, look, man, don't come out here.
Yeah.
You know, but for me, it would be no way to say that because I had already been watching y'all's channel. And, you know, like I said, I'm big on character. You are character people. And, you know, you let other people talk. So it's like, they not just selling what they saying. They letting people they ain't meet and, you know, from Adam and they just letting them talk. So it's like, okay, that's the testimonials that we all see, you know. And, you know, it was just like, let's get on the plane experience. But yeah, that signature restaurant was nice. So that is what happened. Yeah.
I was so worried. I was like, I'm not going to ask him. I said, well, maybe he walked in and was like, I don't want to eat by myself.
No, it was just because of the driver time.
That's okay.
I don't really say that because there's some people, because it is, you know, up high end. And a lot of us in the U.S., we're not used to high end. I mean, we think we are. You know, we get to that what's that place called? Red Lobster. And we don't hit the top of the food chain.
Right.
Yeah, we don't hit the top of the food chain.
What did the old girl say? Them Tad biscuits.
Yeah. And you get to that point, you like, so when you see something beyond that, we automatically don't feel it's for us.
I got you.
Yeah, and so what we want to do, we want you to understand that all this stuff that you see in South Africa is for us, down to the Execution Museum, down to Soweto. I think you might have went to 1947.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. That was nice. Me and Lucky went there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just sat out.
You and Lucky was hanging out.
That was my guy. He didn't do the Soweto tour. He got the guide. I forget his name. He got the guide who took me around. I walked around and they did the song at the end. I saw the, I might be calling it wrong, but their constitution almost. Like the 10, it's the circle with the 10, constitution might not be the right word, but like the pillars of what they believe that society should stand for.
Okay.
Like
kind of like the constitution.
I saw that. And like I said, they did a song, a group did a song, and that was good. And then they had like the table set up. I got like South African bracelet,
Mhm.
and a couple other things. But yeah, it was really just all around. It was really good. And the food has just been crazy. You know?
So I know, and I'm asking you this question knowing that I know the answer, but it's not for me, it's for them.
Okay.
A lot of people ask us about options to eat food because we do take people to steak houses,
Gotcha.
but
And then see it on the menu,
They'll
like,
see-
I don't eat steak.
yeah, and I'm like, I take you to a steakhouse, but a lot of people are either vegetarian or vegan, and I know that you're vegan.
Right.
So explain to me what you've been experiencing, even with the restaurants that we've picked as far as food is concerned.
Yeah. I mean, I think too. I'll explain, but that's funny to me because I like some stuff doesn't require you to know the real sound. Like it's common. Like every restaurant has multiple options for the most part. You know, so like I don't. Oh man, the name says. You know, like I get it, but everywhere I've gone was able to accommodate. Like I said, vegan for 8 years now. And every restaurant from like a quick spot, if I want to just get I went to what's that, Smash Burger?
Was it Rocco Mama's?
Rocco Mama's. Yeah. And then I went to the spot. What's next to that? It's
Tasha's,
not Tasha's on the other side.
Pizza Vino,
It's like
the Greek
Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Went there. It was delicious. I mean,
I know, right?
so the trays. Yeah, it's right on the corner.
The little tapas joints.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
eat the whole, I love that.
Amazing kebab spot, had vegan options. And the grill house,
Yeah.
which is, their signature dishes are meat. They had vegan options.
Yeah.
I got a delicious meal there. I got it was like a vegan spaghetti.
Mm-hmm.
I got like a chickpea Mediterranean salad
Mm-hmm.
and a couple other things, and it was good. And the price is different. I thought that I was gonna be like, here's $300 for this meal, and I was just like, this meal, this atmosphere for this amount. Like, I was stunned. I was blown away, man, for the service. So, really, for what you get, there's no way you shouldn't be really like tipped it nice here. Because it's like I couldn't feel good just walking away with just like paying the tab and then maybe like because I'm getting the experience that I know back home this would have cost me hundreds of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And even with you have like how you have what's different that I experienced this at Grill House, how you have a server that comes take. They're not really seem like they're not tripping off of who comes to help you. Because I had an initial server, but then somebody else brought me my drink, and then somebody else brought this, and I was worried because I was like the guy who initially came. I didn't want to not give him his tip or whatever it was. But then I was like, well, all of them helped me, so why can't I give
everybody?
And they weren't like chasing the tip. They were just providing good service because I looked around, they was doing it with every table, and it was just overall like, wow, this is something that would be 5-star back home.
Easy, yeah.
Arm and a leg in your pockets.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what the restaurants
go to
is like
Chris.
arm and a leg out here. I don't even know what is that a thing?
I mean,
Not too much further on.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
at the
But
top.
I will tell you this, and that's another thing that we always like to do because trust me, I've traveled before, I've done a lot of things and so forth. But we do feel, because we know this, because like we would say, like there was somebody that would shy away because we say 5-star hotels and 5-star stuff and just or 4 and 5-star type scenarios and make sure that you're in proper transportation versus Uber, and we do all of the stuff for you and we put it in there, and people shy away because we feel that you deserve
those things.
you coming all the way. You deserve to do these things and you can do it, but people are so used to not doing it. Our people are not used to not do it. They kind of back away from that.
Right.
Oh, that's too much. Can I just go to Rocco Mama's and just this, and then so can I pay that? But you deserve to be on that level and to get fed these types of food, eat these types of foods, do these types of things. So so I'm glad that you have that opportunity to do it without dropping everything that you own.
Yeah, no,
to do it.
I mean, I'm still going home with money that I didn't spend, and the reality is I would challenge anybody to find an equivalent package and equivalent accommodations and equivalent experience and excursions in the U.S. that you're going to get this. if you're doing that, you're probably doing that for 3 days. You ain't gonna be able to pull that for a week or more.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way. Because in the US you can't find that.
Yeah.
You know, I felt for the time that I was going to be out here for the price point, I was like, when you look at it per day, it's very reasonable. It's very affordable if you budget and put your money away. You all offer multiple plans for people, so there's no really excuse or reason for you not to be able to do it.
Yeah.
But once you get the experience, though, is when the value you see is like, oh, I was getting more than what they charge. You know what I'm saying?
That's another thing that we find that people are uber excited once they get here and they start seeing what they're getting and they saying, well, I only paid this much.
Yeah, because I'm doing the math in my head day to day, like looking at these places like, all right, this spot is crazy. Like, you know what I mean? This spot is crazy. You know, like the trip was it was. I feel like this would be like easily 5 figures minimum back home.
No, yeah.
And if you're talking 13, how many days I'm going,
like
you going.
10K.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain hotels where just one night is.
No,
you know how that goes,
and it's not that we don't have them here, and we do put people in hotels that cost that kind of money.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's still cheaper,
right? Yeah.
Than what you would get for that. Because here's what I would say: if a hotel here costs, I don't know, $600 a night,
okay. Mm-hmm.
That same hotel in the U.S. is going to be $1,200.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So I'm like,
yeah,
so I'm like, I can put you in something
right
that you really can't afford back that side because it's going to be almost.
And if you tried to
price.
make not to cut you off,
no, you're
but
right.
if you tried to do the equivalent experiences, that's when it really would get outrageous, and you would get less quality.
100%.
Like, let's say I'm a nature person and live in the U.S. There's people that's into nature.
Yeah.
So they would love to go to safari. Your best bet is a zoo or something.
Yeah.
And if you saw a zoo and then came to this, there's no way. There's just no way you'll be able to compare the two when it comes to experience, because it's like, nah, I'd rather pay for that than go to the free version of that.
Right.
Like, that's how much drastically different it is in the positive.
Yeah, because we had a man. He was playing. He was joking. I think he was joking.
I hope he was joking.
He
was joking.
He said, oh yeah, I've already been on safari. I was at Six Flags, and yeah.
Right. Oh, he was joking.
Yeah,
he was.
So we were.
Oh, he was delusional.
What are the other? Because obviously you've been on a nice game drive.
Right. And I've been to Six Flags. So I don't know what Six Flags he went to. But
it was interesting. But all I can say is we really do appreciate the fact that you trusted us to come on this trip.
Yeah, thank you.
You came by yourself. It wasn't like you needed a whole group to be here.
Right,
And I think we sorted you out for the most part. Obviously, you got a little bit more. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to find out what happened to you in Cape Town.
Yeah, I'll record a video.
Yeah,
I definitely will.
I think it's gonna be different.
Yeah, I said I told somebody who's already been here. They didn't go through you all, but they've been to Cape Town, and she asked jokingly in the text, because I was talking about how great this place was, and she was like, "Are you coming back? You can tell me."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah." I said it's highly likely, but not guaranteed. And then she was laughing. She was like, "Well, get back to me after you go to Cape Town."
Yeah.
You know, so even she was saying, her and her husband, and she brought their kids, and they talk about potentially moving here. Yeah. Their kids are young. Yeah. They know South Africa is great. Yeah. So it's one of the few people who's actually experienced it, but now I'm one of the few people. Yeah. So
we all should be experiencing it.
Yeah, we should. Honestly. We should.
Well, I'm going to challenge you, because when you get back, I'm going to give you about a month.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a month, and then we'll do another video after you've been back a month. We'll get on camera from here, and then we'll do another video. Because what I don't want you to compare Johannesburg and Cape Town. Cool. I want to know what you feel, because Cape Town is. I'm happy that you are able to do both in one trip. Okay. A lot of people don't have that luxury. Some people do all three in one trip, and they always feel like they should be in either place more time. Yeah. But once you're done with Cape Town and you've seen how beautiful it is, I'll be interested to see how things actually go.
And Joburg is I was sold on. Cape Town is where I always wanted to go. I said, the whale watching, I'm a nature person. But when you all was just doing some videos, I was like, I got it.
And then Joburg.
Yeah, I got it.
So,
Yeah.
so that means you do need to come back at a different time because whale watching season doesn't start until June.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
In the winter. So we're
Right.
not in winter yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like June to October.
Okay. Yeah. So. But
So
I'm excited.
Is there anything else you want to tell the South Africans? Because
The
they're
South-
watching.
The South Africans, I just want to say thank you for having me. It's been lovely. You'll be having me more often because I plan on coming back a lot. Thank you for your hospitality, your respect, just who you are as people. Keep that, and I think more people need to come and see what it's like firsthand. Don't read about it. Don't hear about it from somebody else. Not even me. Come see it for yourself. Experience it for yourself, as they say, sunny South Africa, which it really was sunny like every day. Even for it to be fall, we in fall.
Yeah.
Sunny and 70 every day. So if this is fall, that's lovely. So shout out to the real South Africa. They did a great job hosting me, and I still got a few days left. So and can I give a shameless plug?
Sure.
I'm a filmmaker, so my website is uniquelensproductions.com. Me and my buddy Delonte, we write scripts, we make
Delonte
movies. Nah, West, silly. But we make movies, we make series, shows, comedy, drama. We got a lot of stuff on the website. That's Unique Lens Productions, all one word. Check us out, support, tell us what you think. We always open for critique. So
Awesome.
yeah.
You guys out of DC?
Yes. But we moved to Atlanta.
Okay.
That was one of
Where
the
do you live
reasons.
now?
Well, technically I'm back home because, like I said, when my mom
Okay.
got sick, I was still there for a
Okay.
while. But my license is still Atlanta, so I'm still down there in the Marietta surrounding area.
Oh,
But you can collaborate with anybody in the world.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
there's a big industry here.
I know. I will show y'all the
Massive
Kings of
industry.
Joburg premiere.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah, I saw that. I'll be paying attention. I'll be paying attention. So, because that's something I would like to, amongst other things, fitness and film is something that if I did move here and contribute to the people.
Opportunities are here.
Yeah, because I don't just want to receive, you know what I'm saying? Like once you get here, you want to give too, because I'm getting a lot. So if I ever was to make it home, what I plan to do, I want to give back to the economy, to the people, bring opportunity, whether that's in fitness or film or both.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I'm into. But I have seen, other than Hollywood, I think this is the biggest market in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And Joburg
and they're catching up. Yeah.
Joburg is blowing up.
Yeah.
Netflix and all these streaming services, to include Showmax, they're making a lot of productions, and then of course they're doing them in Cape Town, and they're even doing them in Durban now as well. So there's a lot going on. So they need good people doing that. And there's a lot of South Africans out there, and y'all guys know who you are, who watch this channel, that are up and coming and willing to collaborate to do things.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, hit me up if you're in film. Hit me up. I ain't opposed to receiving the information, collaborate.
Yeah.
What
was that contact information again?
That was uniquelensproductions.com.
Unique Lens Productions, all
Yeah,
one
all
word.
one word. You'll find all our stuff on there. We're on Roku. We're on Quelle TV. I don't know if you're familiar.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, we're on there too, and that's black owned African.
You're gonna send us the links to the films you made, right?
Yes, ma'am. Send you everything.
Perfect.
All right,
He
cool.
just called me ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good.
All right,
I'm
everybody.
over
Thank
it.
you for watching, and of course, like and subscribe to our channel, and of course, share. Let everybody know what we're doing over here in South Africa. I think we're doing big things. All I can tell you is just come here on a trip. Come here on a trip, and you'll find every question that you're going to have about South Africa. You're going to find it on your trip. Come here as a tourist and tour South Africa. And then obviously coming with us, we just make it super easy for you. So we will see you guys in sunny South Africa. Back by popular demand, you requested it, and here it is. Here are the dates, and all the information you're going to need is on the website. Go ahead and book now. It will be filling up fast because a lot of people want to come to South Africa and look at the real estate.
Hey Mark, thanks so much for allowing me to be a part of this video, but I do want to ask you a question.
Sure, go ahead.
What do you love about what we do?
Well, I just like the fact that we show a lot of professionalism, and I like being a professional. And the biggest thing is I like sharing what we find and what we do with everyone.
I think that what you said is awesome, but what I love about what we do is that we actually take the time to build actual relationships. If you remember, we've talked about this 1,000 times before,
Yeah.
and what makes South Africa so special and what we're able to do is that we actually take the time to build relationships. We don't just go meet someone and, have a short conversation and think that they're going to work with us. We actually take time and invest our time and our abilities and making connections that are going to be lifelong that we can share with other individuals.
Absolutely. And so that's why this real estate tour, I think, was so successful the first time. And of course, the second time around will be just as successful, if not more successful than the first one. Now, the people that came, I mean, they voiced to us many times, wow, this tour was amazing. It was great to be able to have access to the properties, being able to know how it works, and then, of course, having the professionals on hand to answer questions. And then, of course, after the tour was over, they still can contact them because they're constantly interested. And then, of course, several people bought homes.
I think the enthusiasm, not just of the people that came, they were enthusiastic before they got here because they understood that what we were doing was something that was revolutionary, that had never really been done before at this level, and that it did take a lot of work for us to be able to put this together. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like we put it together by the seat of our pants. We actually took time to build these relationships, as I said earlier, to make sure that everyone in that room got exactly what they deserved and what they paid for. We talk about the construction people, the builders, the developers. To have all those people in one room at the same time was amazing. And we love the fact that we have the support of Joburg Tourism, understanding that investments are a part of what tourism brings to South Africa.
Yeah, just doing it from a professional environment really, really, really helped. And then, of course, those that were local people here in Johannesburg signed up to work with us so we can bring people this exclusive opportunity to come to South Africa, walk inside these locations in these homes and get the offerings that South Africa has. And so we were really proud that everybody that came trusted us. I think they all went back home super excited, super happy, and for the prospects of purchasing a home here in South Africa. If you did, and if they didn't purchase it now, they're going to purchase it in the future, and they have all the contacts to do so.
I think that because they have the contacts to do so, the contacts are also enthusiastic about hearing from them as well.
All right, it's always good for us to be able to come together and have the opportunity at this location. Right here, they're at Serengeti, one of the estates here in South Africa, and this is the reception that they received at Serengeti. Very good situation. That brother right there is in the belly brother, and of course we got our guests who are here with us in South Africa.
I love the fact that they took the time to not only partner with us in this, but believe in us and put together something at Serengeti that was all encompassing of what Serengeti actually was able to offer, because they were so steadfast in what they put together and believed in what we were trying to do as far as investing in South Africa. What they actually did was put everybody in situations where they have the ability to make lifelong friends, meaning that they grouped everybody together.
Yeah, they did become friends.
And those people literally stuck together based on their configuration. But the way Serengeti did that, allowing everybody to get the same experience, was what kind of made it a situation where everybody was able to bond even more.
Because I think at this point, everybody's lifelong friends. They've been chatting back and forth in the private chats and whatnot. So it was great to see a bunch of African Americans having the opportunity to do something like this here in Africa. I'm going to say is probably something that doesn't happen a lot, but it needs to happen more. And that's why we are doing another real estate tour, because I think the African American community will be embraced like this company, like this whole group was. You will be embraced as well. And then, of course, they got an opportunity to do plenty more things here in South Africa outside of the real estate tour. So it really worked out well for them. Everybody's happy. And right now we have a couple people that I want you guys to meet. They're going to tell you a little bit about their experience here in South Africa with the real South Africa. So stay with us.
Hello, my name is Toya. I'm from Los Angeles, California. We came today with the Blantons to take a look at this beautiful home here in Serengeti. I would say this home is a great use of space. The natural light is absolutely fabulous. I love the courtyard style in the yard area. There are several bedrooms and a theater room. It is absolutely gorgeous. It definitely made me think about investing in this property.
Hi, my name is Spencer Willington. I'm from Goodyear, Arizona, and I'm here on the Real South Africa tour. It is an amazing tour. I'm having a great time. I wish it was longer. It's only, I think it's 8 or 9 days. But if you get an opportunity to maybe not come out to a real estate tour, but come to South Africa under the Real South Africa. Again, Spencer Willington by way of Goodyear, Arizona. Thanks.
Now that you guys have an idea of what we do and how we do our real estate tours, we are so professional. No one does it like we do. And those were just clips from people who came on the first one. So sign up for the second one now. All right, guys, take a look at our preview to our documentary. It's amazing. So check it out. And then once you've seen the preview, which is coming up next, you can go to our website and view it. Thank you. The Real South Africa is a travel and tourism company. Our overarching focus is to bring to the African diaspora what South Africa has to offer in the realms of tourism and the option to see what's available here in South Africa. And then, of course, if you're looking at trying to relocate to South Africa, then we can assist you in those areas as well.
My husband, named the company, and it made sense simply because of what we're shown in the media when it comes to South Africa. We're never shown, how beautiful the people are, how beautiful the architecture, the fashion, the food. So for us, when we got to experience how people actually have real lifestyles and they love their families and they socialize, like that was more real to us than anything that we had ever been shown, as far as the media is concerned on that side.
What we were taught about South Africa, as a child, we always thought Tarzan, which was ridiculous. We thought, that it was just it was like jungles and stuff to that effect.
The only thing that you hear about South Africa is robberies, hijackings. In fact, I was told that if you get here, if you have a bag in the car, they're going to break your window and take it.
South Africa is presented in a way that it's only shown for you coming here to serve others.
We see some of the films where the kids have flies on their eyes and they need our help, and they're not a developed country, and there's so many negative, it's dangerous. But when you get here, it contradicts everything that you have been told.
All right, everyone, the Real South Africa, we got packages to Cape Town, Johannesburg, Durban, and other places. We would love for you guys to come and enjoy what South Africa has to offer. And of course, as your travel and tourism experts here in South Africa, we can make it all come true. Now, we all know you guys have dreams and aspirations of coming to Africa. A lot of us do, and of course we did too, and that's why we're based here in Johannesburg, the city of gold. A very awesome place, and you're going to enjoy it once you get here as well. What do you get when you get here? Well, first of all, when you land here in South Africa, we take care of everything. We make sure your accommodations are good. We make sure your airport pickups are perfect. There'll be somebody standing there with a sign. We also make sure that the places that you're going to visit are carefully curated for you, of course. And then you got to eat. So what do? We put you in a perfect scenario regardless of what city you're in, so you can actually have a great meal with friends and family, or even if you come by yourself, no problem, we're going to take care of that too. But isn't this amazing? So this is what we can do for you. So basically all you have to do is just reach out to us on our website, therealsouthafrica.com. And of course, once you get here, we got you. Now, of course, South Africa offers spa treatments. They're absolutely amazing. And a lot of people just love it simply because they never thought they can get a spa treatment in Africa. And then, of course, we always provide you guys with opportunities to see special animals out in their own environment and so forth. The only thing that you have to do at that point, after you've been afraid from the animals, is to get on a plane, come here to South Africa, and enjoy yourself. So we will see you here in what we like to call sunny South Africa. Oh, and by the way, you'll get an opportunity to shop as well. So book your trip today.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today. If you like what you saw, please subscribe and don't forget to hit the notifications button so you don't miss out on all things The Real South Africa. Thanks again.